There's a very strong resistance to the use of methadone and Suboxone in the treatment of opioid addiction in the general public and the treatment world and the medical world at large. And I think it's a complicated issue, why that is, but I've been at this a long time and I've seen very small movement around that there's still large numbers of people who don't want programs to be started, they don't want them to be near them, they don't want them to be, and some of it's that they're afraid, and I think people need to understand that the way out of this is for people to get the correct treatment, and this is the correct treatment. This is the treatment that actually works. For people who stay on methadone for 5 years or more, 75 to 80% of them are never going to go back to using opioids again. One of the ways that we've tried to approach this idea of a chronic versus an acute illness at Foundation is that we tolerate a lot of behavior that other programs, I think, traditionally have been reluctant to tolerate because, and I think often from a good intention, which is if you relapse, come back in 30 days or come back when you're ready, meaning you're not using anymore, or they eliminate people from their programs who don't obtain perfect abstinence, right? And here, we keep people in treatment irregardless of whether they stop using or not. If they relapse, the message they get over and over is, come back immediately, come back to us as soon as possible. We want you to come back. We are glad to see you, not glad that you relapsed, but we're glad to see you and see that you want to continue on with this because it's the healthiest thing for you to do, healthiest possible thing for you to do. Because when you eliminate a person from your treatment program, they don't disintegrate or dematerialize or disappear. What they do is they go off and they continue to use and they continue to be problematic both for themselves and for the communities they live in and for the healthcare system as a whole. We give people a lot of choices about what kinds of treatment that they think would be most useful to them. So when somebody comes in to the App Foundation and they go through an evaluation, we don't just determine that they have a problem and then we say, here's what you need to do, right? The question becomes, what do you think you need to do? What have you tried? What's worked well for you? Or what have you wondered about and what can we help you, and can we help you get there with that? And we let people select what they think will be helpful to them. I mean, I can sit and talk to somebody all day long and I can give them 20 good ideas, but without medication assistance, it's very hard for them to take advantage of that kind of intervention. Not that it wouldn't be useful, because it is. I mean, I can help you get a job and all that, but without some kind of support for what's happened to you physiologically, the chances of that working are very small. Over the years, I've been involved in lots of different sorts of mental health and substance abuse interventions, treatment modalities, and I think the thing that continuously brought me back to this, back to working with people who had opioid use disorders and addictive disorders, but opioid use disorders in particular, was that I perceived the people who were needing this to be a highly marginalized group of people. And I think that working with people who came into our system and their lives improved, and that was hugely gratifying to do that. The one big thing that I think people should understand about the opioid crisis is that it's not going to go away because the people who've already been affected are relatively young, and this is going to continue across the lifespan, and we're going to be dealing with this for a very long time. So I think people underestimate the longevity of this issue. It's not like other health crises that we have, where we end the crisis and then health starts to come back. I mean, it's going to continue across for decades. It's having the treatment resources available and getting people to them and getting them to buy into it, that this can be the life that they can have. I think people in general believe that you can solve this problem without using the medications, and it's not possible. It's just not possible.